I think for me, the defining moment for me was when I started to see the depth of alienation and anger on the part of more blue-collar and Southern whites at McCain-Palin rallies. You know, where you hear people screaming out, "Kill him," or something like that. Or, you know, just there seemed to be this notion that, oh my God, you know, with the election of this guy, we can no longer claim that there's somebody lower on the totem pole than us, which I've had this theory since I was a kid that that's the major reason why there hasn't been any kind of communist workers or farmers revolution in this country, that blue-collar white people, poor white people can always say, well, there's always somebody worse off. And we at least have this. So now
do we expect one, or is it that in fact where it's a different world now?
I don't know. I mean, I think that that what happened in August, September, and October with our economic system, coupled with you know, the shoot down basically of the bailout. I think there are some Joe the Plumbers who are actually scratching their heads going, well, you know what, and I think I might have, you know, I've said this to my wife many times, is that, you know, belief in God, guts, and guns, you know, must be much stronger than common sense and self-preservation, because I think that some of these people are starting to see now, well, the Republican Party really wasn't in my corner to begin with. I mean, maybe that, you know, and now there's a black guy. And not just that, but some Harvard black guy in the White House, and it just seems
it's hard to imagine anything worse.
Right. Well, I mean,
come on.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine anything worse. And I think that it's a real.
I'm not sure that that's a. I'm not sure that that's a recognizing that the band of counties that constitute Appalachia were pretty solidly red in this election,
right.
And I'm not. You know, there's no arguing that.
Right.
Okay. The reality of the election was that, you know, whether you call it the Bradley effect or whatever else, it wasn't even remotely present.
No, it wasn't.
And almost all the predictions of inchoate racism materializing at the ballot turned out to be amazingly not true. I mean, just wrong.
Well, I think it was amazing.
There has to be some. That has to be some measure. There has to be some possibility that you know the world's changed a little bit, and it didn't just change 6 weeks ago.
No, and I think
was a change.
But see, but here's where I try to feed back into this, is that I think that, and I saw this. You know, I mean, I don't live in, you know, we live in Maryland. We live right on the border of the District of Columbia, but I saw this change. You know, right there corporally with suburbanites who, you know, maybe we as African Americans might have suspected as being kind of closet racist, but for whatever reason, be it that Barack, from conspiracy theory type reasons, that Barack is maybe not black enough, so he was acceptable, to pat answers like, well, we're going to blame the Republicans for the stock market crashing. I don't think that those were I think that people really saw him as a leader and really wanted to change, and I think that was reflected in the ballot at the polls. My point is that I think that if you're a blue-collar Southern white male, I think that you would now see that the country is no longer yours. That the only thing that kept you even in the running and important was that people like George Bush would come and, you know, speak your language every now and say that you were a real American, like Sarah Palin was saying. There's a real America and a false America. If I were a white-collar Southern white male, I'd be like, well, wow, maybe the real America is up there in the shopping malls and is up there riding around in Volvos. It's not us in pickup trucks anymore. As a matter of fact, the people making the pickup trucks might be out of business. And I think that kind of fear, which I think is unreasonable, but it's something that they haven't had to deal with. I think that's hard. That's a hard thing to deal with.
I think if the question is, and we've got to wrap this up, but I think the question, there's two questions embedded in that, which we can certainly talk about in a future episode. One, whether there's any future to the Republican Party's message as it has been constituted in the last decade, and the other is quite a different one, which is what will the next couple of years, what kind of stresses will that reveal in the American psyche? I suspect it will have absolutely nothing to do with the fact that there's an African American in the White House, and everything to do with the fact that we're in for some pretty tough economic times. Anyway, we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
You got to be on your way, but I think it's been a great deal of fun, and we'll see if we can do more of it again. Anyway, thank you for this. Joining us for this episode of TigerHawk TV, and until next time.